Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive. Today we're looking at 50 must-know English phrases for daily conversations. Should be pretty useful, right? It's set up like a conversation script, walking us through different scenarios, greetings, ordering food, asking for directions, stuff you use every day.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that these phrases, they're more than just words, right? They kind of give you a glimpse into the cultural side of things, how English speakers interact.
I see what you mean. Like, it's not just about the words themselves, but how you use them.
Exactly. It's about that feeling, that tone, and how polite you need to be in different situations.
Okay, so the script kicks off with greeting a friend, those everyday reasons. We've got, hey, long time no see, how have you been? Pretty good.
Simple stuff you'd think, but taking a how have you been? It's not just a quick hello. In English-speaking cultures, you're actually expected to share a little bit, show that you care about how the other person's doing.
You know what? I've noticed that a simple "how are you" can sometimes turn into a whole conversation. It's not just a formality.
Right. It's an opening to connect a bit deeper, even if it's just casual. Okay, now imagine this. You're in a busy cafe, need your coffee fix. The script suggests phrases like, can I get? Would you like anything else? No, that's all. Thanks.
Yeah, that's pretty standard, I think. But I wonder, is there a reason they picked these specific phrases? I mean, couldn't you be more casual?
Good question. Think about a cafe, though. Everyone's rushing. The barista's got a line. You got to be polite, sure, but also efficient.
Right, makes sense. Got to keep things moving. So it's about being considerate of everyone's time.
Exactly. Okay, what about when you're in a store, you need some help?
Oh, yeah, I've definitely been there.
The script gives us, excuse me, do you have this in a smaller size? And thanks, I appreciate it.
Okay, excuse me is pretty universal. But that last one, thanks, I appreciate it. What's the difference there?
It's more than a plain thank you, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It shows you really value that the person went out of their way to help you. Builds a little connection, even if it's a quick interaction.
I like that. Makes things a bit more positive. All right, let's get into something a little trickier. How about small talk?
Ah, yeah, small talk. The script gives us some classics. It's such a nice day, isn't it? By the way, and do you have any plans for the weekend?
All good options. I personally find, by the way, super useful. It just helps move from one topic to another smoothly. No awkward silence.
I know, right? Smooth transition keeps things casual. Now, do you have any plans for the weekend? That's an interesting one.
Why is that? Seems like pretty normal small talk to me.
It is, but it shows something specific about English-speaking cultures. They really value their personal time, their free time.
You mean like asking about weekend plans is showing you care about their life outside of work?
Exactly. It's deeper than just making conversation. Now remember, small talk, it's not the same everywhere you go. You got to pay attention and adapt.
Right, be flexible, observe how people interact. Okay, moving on to compliments. We've got, I love your jacket shoes bag, and that's so nice of you to say. I like how specific those are.
Being specific is key. I love your jacket is way better than just, you look nice. It feels more real.
It's like you actually noticed something you liked. I get it. But responding to compliments, ugh, I always feel so awkward.
I know what you mean. That's why that's so nice of you to say as a lifesaver. Polite, appreciative, not awkward at all.
The perfect balance? Okay, no, picture this. You're in a new city, completely lost. What do?
Well, according to the script, you'd start with a polite, could you tell me how to get to?
Okay, that's a good start, but I think a lot of people get nervous asking for directions, especially if they're in a hurry.
It happens. But staying calm and speaking clearly is so important. And don't forget to listen carefully. You don't want to end up going in circles.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've covered some good ground here with the basic phrases, but our source material, 50 must-know English phrases, they've got a whole section called More Must-Know English Phrases, like a bonus round.
It is, and there's some really interesting stuff in there.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, what are a few of those phrases that stand out to you?
There are a few that tackle those tricky situations, like when you're not feeling well or you didn't hear something.
Oh, those are always good to have. Let's dig into those right after a quick.
So we were talking about those situations where you're not feeling great or maybe you missed something in the conversation.
Yeah, those can be kind of awkward to navigate, especially in a new language.
Totally. But hey, there are phrases that can help. Like if you're not feeling your best, the script suggests, I'm feeling a bit under the weather.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that one. It's a way of saying you're not well without giving all the details.
Exactly. Gets the message across politely and keeps it private. Now, what about those times when it's super noisy and you just didn't catch what someone said?
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Well, the script gives us a couple of options. Excuse me, could you repeat that? Or, sorry, I didn't catch that.
Much better than just pretending you understood, right? I've definitely been there, too embarrassed to ask, and then I'm totally lost.
Happens to everyone. But asking someone to repeat shows you're really listening, that you care about what they're saying.
It's about respecting them and their words. Okay, so we've got feeling sick and needing things repeated. What else is in this more must-know English phrases section?
Well, there's some great phrases for agreeing and disagreeing, the backbone of any good conversation.
Those are tricky sometimes. Like, you don't want to come across too strong or too weak, you know?
I hear you. It's all about balance. The script suggests that makes sense as a way of showing you understand the other person's point.
Yeah, that's a good neutral one. Doesn't mean you agree or disagree, just that you get it.
Right. But then if you totally agree with someone, the script gives us, I totally agree.
Haha, yeah, that one's got more energy to it.
Definitely, it emphasizes that you're on the same page. But then there are times when you don't agree, and those can be a bit sensitive.
For sure. How do you disagree without causing a problem?
Well, the script recommends a diplomatic approach. I'm not so sure about that.
Ooh, I like that one. Leaves room for discussion, doesn't shut the conversation down.
Exactly. It's a way to introduce your perspective without being confrontational. It's all about keeping that dialogue open and respectful, which is super important. So we've covered agreeing and disagreeing. Now what about expressing feelings? That could be really tough in another language.
No kidding. Sometimes you just don't have the words.
Right. But the script gives us some good ones. For example, if you're really excited about something, you could say, I'm so excited.
Simple and straight to the point. Sometimes that's all you need.
And if you're blown away by something, there's always, that's amazing. Short, sweet, and effective.
Yeah, it's like the verbal equivalent of your jaw dropping, but let's face it, life isn't always sunshine and rainbows. How do you express those not so great feelings?
Well, the script doesn't shy away from those either. If something's disappointing, you can say that's too bad.
It acknowledges the situation without overdoing it.
Right. It expresses disappointment in a calm way. So we've covered agreeing, disagreeing, all sorts of emotions. What's next on our conversational checklist?
How about making plans?
Perfect. The script highlights a classic, are you free this weekend?
Love it. Get straight to the point, no beating around the bush.
And once you've figured out some free time, you can follow up with, let's catch up soon.
Ooh, that's a good one. Very casual and friendly. No pressure.
Exactly. And if they're up for it, you can seal the deal with, sounds like a plan.
I like it. All right, so you've made plans. You're out for dinner with a friend.
Time to put those ordering skills to work. The script recommends a simple, I'll have the dish name, please.
Clear, polite, and easy to understand. Can't go wrong with that. And when you're ready to go, you can politely ask for the check.
Like this. Could we get the check, please? Again, politeness is key, especially when you're talking to waitstaff.
Totally agree. Oh, and don't forget to compliment the food. This looks delicious. Always works.
It shows you appreciate the food and sets a nice tone for the meal. So we've talked about making plans, ordering food, all those good things. Anything else stand out to you from the script?
Well, what about travel phrases? Those are so important when you're in a new place.
You're right. Navigating a new city can be tricky. The script gives us some lifesavers, like, what time does the bus arrive? Or, do I need to transfer trains?
Oh, those are essential, especially when you're trying to figure out public transport. And if you're not sure about the travel time, you can always ask, how long does it take to get there?
Simple questions, but they make all the difference. So we've covered a lot in this part, haven't we? From agreeing and disagreeing to navigating public transport, a bunch of useful phrases.
We have, but before we move on to the last part, I think there's something important to remember.
What's that?
Well, these phrases are a great starting point, but they're just the beginning, right? Real fluency comes from understanding the context, the little nuances, and how you can adapt these phrases to different situations.
I couldn't agree more. It's like having a toolbox. You need to know which tool to use and when.
Exactly. And that's what we'll dive into in our final part. We'll look at how to tweak and combine these phrases for even smoother and more effective communication.
Sounds good to me. Let's unlock those final secrets of conversational mastery.
All right, we're back for the final part of our deep dive. We've covered so much already, from the basics to those trickier situations, but I feel like we've saved the best for last, right?
You got it. This last batch of phrases, it's all about adding that extra polish, that personality to your English conversations.
I like that. So where do we even begin? What comes to mind when you think about adding personality to language?
Well, remember, that reminds me, we talked about it a bit earlier.
Yeah, I use that one all the time. It's just such a natural way to bring up something new, something related, without interrupting the flow.
It really is. It's like you're saying, hey, this made me think of something, and I think you'll find it interesting too. Shows you're really engaged.
Connection the dots. Now, what about when you want to share something exciting, something unexpected? How do you build up that anticipation?
Guess what? Two simple words, but so effective.
Ha! It's like a little drum roll before you drop the big news.
Exactly. And then when you tell them, if it's really surprising, you might hear, No way, really. That mix of disbelief and excitement, it's perfect.
It just injects so much energy into the conversation. Okay, let's switch gears for a sec. What about apologies?
Ah, yes. Saying sorry, it can be a bit of an art. The script gives us this nice, simple phrase, sorry for the delay.
Straight to the point. You acknowledge you made someone wait without going overboard.
Exactly. And speaking of showing appreciation, we've talked about thank you, but how do you really amp up that gratitude?
Well, there's always thanks a lot. It has that extra emphasis,
It
right?
does. Makes it clear you're truly thankful. And if someone really went above and beyond, you could say, I really appreciate it.
That one feels so genuine, so heartfelt. It shows you don't take them for granted.
Right on. Now we've covered starting conversations, keeping them going, expressing ourselves. What about ending a conversation gracefully?
Ah, the art of the exit. Yeah, sometimes that can be a bit awkward.
Tell me about it. The script suggests I better get going.
Short and simple.
And you can always soften it by adding a little explanation, like I better get going, I have a meeting in a few minutes.
Makes it sound less abrupt. And of course, you can always end on a positive note, like, it was nice talking to you.
Exactly. Reinforces that connection, leaves things open for next time. And for something more casual, take care. Always works.
Yeah, it's simple but friendly. Okay, so here we are. We've reached the end of our deep dives into these 50 must-know phrases. We've covered so much ground.
We have. From greetings to goodbyes, ordering food, expressing those feelings. It's been quite a journey.
It really has. And as we wrap up, the biggest thing I'm taking away from this is that language, it's more than just words. It's about connecting, expressing ourselves, and navigating those everyday moments, with confidence and grace.
Shouldn't have said it better myself. These phrases, they're just tools, right? They're the building blocks for making those connections, for expressing who you are.
So true. So as you go out and practice these phrases, remember, fluency comes with confidence, and confidence, well, that comes with practice.
Don't be afraid to make a mistake, try new things, find your own voice in English.
That's the key. Embrace the journey, and most importantly, have fun with it.
Have fun.
We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into 50 must-know English phrases. We hope you feel ready to take your conversations to the next level. Until next time, keep practicing, keep exploring, and keep those conversations going.